We have the confirmation of the minutes from our last meeting, which was on March the 26th. It seems so far away. We've been busy in between. So if I could have the resolution, please.
Resolve the minutes of the March 26th meeting of council be adopted as presented.
Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Bazarowicz, Councillor Spicer seconds. Any corrections to the minutes or deletions or additions to the minutes, something that was missed? I'm not seeing any hands go up, so I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, so this morning I'd like to welcome all the grade 9 students that are here this morning, and I think this is our last class that's going to be coming to visit for this year. So you have some agendas, and if there's any questions, I will try and leave a few minutes at the end before you have to leave. Are you leaving again about 1:45, Rita?
The bus is going to pick us up in the parking lot at 10.
At 10? Okay, so we have a few extra minutes today. So before we finish, I will ask if anybody in the audience has any questions or comments that they'd like to make, and I think your teacher has handed out a couple of agendas. Go ahead, Rita.
Deputy officer is not Heather Stanek. The sign in front of you,
Oh.
you're not Heather Stanek. I don't know what's happened to your side, but you're not Heather.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I just didn't want them to be confused.
You can call me anything.
And just so everybody knows, we also have our new recreation director with us this morning, Brendan. So anything to do with recreation programs, and I'm sure that if your folks, your mom and dad's got the newsletter, the latest newsletter, there's lots of good things going on around East Selkirk, and Brendan was the one that put that all together and circulated it through our Connect. So, and if anybody is not hooked up to Connect, I would encourage you to do so, because we send out a lot of blasts that way, email blasts.
Okay, so give me the information again.
Go ahead, Brendan.
Yeah, so we have a newsletter coming out monthly, and we're going to be sending it out through our connector or the MailChimp. So it'll all be sent out digitally that way.
So how do the parents log in?
So it's all the information will be on the website.
Okay. On the RM website?
So,
And what's all forms on the calendar?
I think Deepak's pulling it up here, Rita.
Oh, good. So that's what their website looks like.
So this is our website that we'll be refining. It has information related to all the different various things, as well as we have a component where it says St. Clement's Connect. So what St. Clement's Connect is an ability for any resident in St. Clement's to connect to the RM St. Clement's through text messaging, email, and telephone. So when there are emergencies like as a possible tornado or hurricane, which probably won't happen in Manitoba, or large snowstorms, the Connect program will go out and let everyone know. So you receive sort of notices in case of major emergencies, but it could also be used for other communications. We're using it also to communicate when we have fire bans and those types of information. So we encourage everybody, when you go home, ask your parents, are we on Connect? Why aren't we? Because it's beneficial for you, for the municipality to be able to give you emergency notices.
Right. Good, thanks.
Okay, so it's right here. When you go in there, you just click on register, and then it goes through, explains how to go through the register, what kind of messages will I get, explains it. What if I don't have an email address? So some individuals don't have emails, and they'll still get a phone number to be able to get a recorded message to them, saying there's an emergency. As you may recall, there was an emergency where we had someone at large that the RCMP had identified. We were able to notify all our residents through Connect in that area that there was something happening. And then you just fill in this information in here, and then you register. Okay.
Okay. Anything else, Rita? No? Okay, so we're gonna move on to our agenda. Number 5 on our agenda is our bylaws, and we have one bylaw that we are going to be dealing with today, and it's our Heritage Committee bylaw. to walk us through that, please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This bylaw was adopted at the last meeting of council, and I apologize for that. What happened was an error on my part, that I was away when we did the first reading, and I was under the impression that the second reading of the bylaw had occurred, and I'd forgotten that I had said don't have the second reading until I return, so I could speak to the bylaw. And at our last meeting, I suggested we only had to do the third reading. So, as per municipal regulations, as per provincial regulations in the municipal bylaw or municipal act, we have to have 3 readings of bylaws. And since we only had the first and the third, we're bringing this back to have the second and third reading. Now, there was a delegation that came forward and asked a series of questions. Those questions were all answered. Brendan replied back with the details of those answers. This is dealing with the creation of a heritage committee for council members. We're creating a bylaw that allows us to create a heritage committee and to manage our heritage resources throughout the RM. It allows us to identify how the heritage committee has been established, how heritage resources from buildings to other types of resources are identified and how they're managed, and how the committee will then work with the RM when it comes to budgeting, and the bylaw covers all those aspects. So if council has any questions, I can certainly answer them. If not, then I'll move to second reading of the bylaw.
Any questions or comments from members of council? Okay, if you want to bring the resolution forward for second reading, then please.
Resolved, bylaw 15 of 2023 being a bylaw of the Rural Municipality of St. Clements to provide the conservation and preservation of buildings, structures, history, cultural, and lands with local architectural and historical interests within the municipality be given second reading.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, Councillor Bazarowitz seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. And if we want to proceed with third reading?
Resolved, bylaw 15 of 2023 being a bylaw of the Rural Municipality of St. Clements to provide for the conservation and preservation of buildings, structures, history, culture, and lands with local architectural and historical interests within the municipality be read a third time.
Okay, can I have a mover, please? Councillor Strang, Councillor Sutherland seconds. And just for everybody's information, on third reading of any bylaw, it is a recorded vote through legislation, so I will ask the members of council to keep their hands up until Heather has it noted for the minutes. So I have a mover, I have a seconder. Is there any discussion on third reading of the bylaw? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? You got that, Heather? Thank you. Okay, the next item on our agenda is in camera, and that is when council goes and closes the doors to the public. We are going to skip past that because we have our guests here today, so we will do that a little bit later in our meeting. So we're going to skip down to number 8, new and other business. And the first item there, 8.1, is Universus Recreation Software.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Brendan, if you want to come forward and we'll speak to this. Brendan has done some research and I know that ever since the creation of our recreation area and hiring of the recreation manager, we've been increasing the level of recreation services throughout the RM, which means that we've had a lot more programs that are specifically created by the RM for the benefits of our residents. And for that, there's usually a registration fee to cover the cost of the delivery of those programs. And since Brendan's come on board, he's identified that a very strong statement which said we are in serious need of a software program. I would agree with him that as we were mostly in a manual environment in the past, residents would have to show up at the office to be able to pay for these programs, and not as convenient as being able to use a software and be able to register online. And so what he's looked at is a software program called Universus.
Univeris.
Univeris recreation software, and what it does is allows for proper registration, as well as allows for being able to do payment online as well. I want to make sure that it's noted that there is no extra cost for the online payment. It's the same as what we would have had if someone came to the front office and paid by Visa or credit card onto the difference is, in the office, they can come pay by cash as well, they'll still have that, but you can't do that on the internet yet. Brendan, if you want to talk any further about this and maybe some of the advantages and why we really
Yeah,
feel
for
it's
sure.
important.
So it's absolutely needed. We don't have any way to register anybody online right now. Registration is a bit of a messy process. It has to go through Taylor, the programmer. So everything gets emailed to her or spoken in person to her. She has a horrible spreadsheet that she has to type everything into. Payments are another big issue. When we take payment, she has to again go to that spreadsheet and mark who paid, when they paid, how much they paid. She showed me her spreadsheets and they're tough to follow. This program essentially is going to make that 10 times easier. We're going to be able to do everything online. Everything gets entered on their actual thing. It integrates into the actual website itself. So our website gets integrated right into it. And it gets themed along with the website and everything as well. So they included us with a design in there as well. Not to mention, down the road, there is actually a POS add-in. So if you have it at a facility, you can put things through the POS manually too to take cash payment there as well. So,
POS is point of sale?
point of sale for those who don't know.
And so I think the other important thing to recognize in this is that this is coming forward to council as is a multi-year agreement, and all multi-year agreements must come to council for approval. And so it's a 5-year agreement with Univeris, and the initial setup cost is $4,700, and what we'll be looking at is about $2,700 per year for the next 5 years as part of this contract. There is, and I think one thing we should note is that as our self-St. Clements Activity Center is finished next year, this software will help in also many of the programming and services that we'll be offering out of that program. And it will immediately help with places such as the Grand Marais Rec Center, East Suffolk Community Center, and those types of places that we have throughout the RM, as well as Patricia Beach and so forth. But when that area comes in, that will become our major problem.
Okay, any questions from council? Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
So I understand tech is the way of the world, web-based is the way of the world, but not everyone is on that. So I guess the point of sale would be a way to still have those folks be able to take advantage of the process.
Yep. They can still obviously pay in person in office here as well if that's something they want to do. But.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so that's a very good point, Councillor, so let me see if I can expand on that a little bit. What that allows us to do is also have this program also on our own computers here. So when somebody comes to pay, they'll be able to process it through this system. That means there'll be more places that we could offer this throughout the RM to make it convenient as opposed to coming all the way to the office here. It'll eliminate that manual collection and recording.
Okay, go ahead, Councillor Strang.
I was going to ask also, is it something that you sort of started to lead into it, but is it something later on for their taxes too, that they won't have to come to, or maybe a possibility with the program, or?
When I did speak to the gentleman who did the web tutorial, he did say that it's something that some places do. However, it's not meant for that, so it's clunky. It's a little bit harder to do that kind of thing.
I just see all the programming that you guys have going on, and I can imagine your spreadsheet, so I commend you guys for the programming that's being offered right now, so.
And if I may, like, that's also something that's really handy about this program too, is you can export everything onto an Excel sheet. It's so much easier for finance as well. You can export everything on specific GLs, it's 10 times easier for everybody.
And generally speaking, for programs and services, people can pay by Visa and credit card. We don't allow that for taxes.
Not yet.
I'm looking into something for
No, you just see that there are different things that you can pay for online, so, like even doing banking online, you know, that's.
Yeah, we should be able to, right now, individuals can process and do direct payment to us from their bank. They can process monthly payments with their banks. They can come in and provide a check. But we don't, we could be looking at e-transfers for those types of scenarios. But for taxes, the issue turns into is that when people are paying for taxes, they're paying for both municipal and school tax. And a certain portion of that goes to the credit card company. And so there's no legislation right now that you can charge an extra service fee for that. As I recall, this program should allow us to introduce other types of programs that are not directly recreation, but we could add those, you know, selling the recyclers
Right.
or those types of scenarios where people can pay it online, not have to show up.
Okay, any other questions? Is council ready to move on with this request?
Okay, whereas the Recreation Department is in need of a new program booking software, and whereas administration has found a software called Univeris that not only solves current needs, but also be an asset when the South St. Clements facility is completed, therefore be it resolved, council approve the initial setup charge of $4,725 for Univeris software and a continued annual charge of $2,735 for the duration of the 5-year contract term.
Okay, moved by Councillor Bazarowicz, second by Councillor Spicer. Any further discussion on this item? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, carried. 8.2, Prairie Bylaw Enforcement, and I'll hand it over to you, Dean, for that one, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And as every year, Prairie Bylaw Enforcement provides us a list of officers that they will be deploying as part of their bylaw enforcement services that we contract out with them. And as they are acting on behalf of the RM in enforcing RM bylaws, they need to be sworn in as officers by a resolution of council.
Okay, any questions or comments? If we could have the resolution brought forward, please.
Whereas an updated list of Prairie Bylaw officers has been provided by Prairie Bylaw Enforcement Limited, therefore be it resolved to authorize appointment of employees of Prairie Bylaw Enforcement Services listed below as designated officers and bylaw enforcement officers for the enforcement of municipalities' bylaws, the Municipal Act, and any other act the municipality is authorized to enforce effective April 16, 2024. And the list of the officers' names below that.
Thank you for that. Any questions from council? Can I have a move? Oh, go ahead, Councillor Sutherland.
Is this list, is there any new people on this list?
The
Or is that
list
the
got
same?
shorter, actually.
I
I
think
think
so
it has.
too, yeah.
Yeah.
There may be some new ones, but I think there may not be as many as there have been in previous years. Anything else?
No,
Okay, if we could have the resolution, please. Or did you
Just
just
read it.
read it? Can I have a mover then, please? Councillor Bazarowicz, second Councillor Sutherland. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, carried. Okay, we'll do one more item and then we'll pause and see if there are any questions from the audience. So 8.3 AMM.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So this is the AMM advisory for the June district resolutions for the June district meeting that will be held on the 12th to the 19th and the 24th to the 25th. And so during these June districts meetings, there are obviously resolutions that are confirmed by all municipalities that are attending that particular meeting. And they're requesting for us to identify any specific resolutions, and they would need to be submitted to the AMM office by June 1st, 2024. For the sake of the audience, AMM is the Association of Manitoba Municipalities. The Association of Manitoba Municipalities is all the municipalities in Manitoba that get together, and the East District is all the municipalities east of the lake, and that get together to determine what are the issues important to the municipalities. So if council wants to have some discussion regarding any of those resolutions, that'd be a good time, but we will look for opportunities to create some.
Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
The municipalities that are in the watershed district are putting together a resolution. I think municipality of St. Anne has taken the lead. I don't have the exact wording yet, but essentially it's calling on the province to look after doing maintenance on their drains. So I think what's going to happen is that resolution's gonna be circulated for wording, and then we're gonna probably all jointly sponsor, or ask municipalities to all jointly sponsor. So you'll see something coming in one of the next couple of meetings. And the other thing is the watershed district is gonna do a support letter to that resolution also. So, just a heads up.
Okay, thank you for that. Anything else, or go ahead, Deepak.
Related with that, Councillor, is that at the AMM meeting last week, for the Merit CIO meeting, there was some discussions as well regarding DFAs, disaster financial assistance, as well as the federal disaster fund, DFAA, federal program, and there was a significant amount of discussions, and one of those was to use AMM to work at lobbying for the provinces to start working on the provincial drains, because they're having a direct impact on the municipal drains, and sometimes municipal drains can't be resolved until the provincial drains are completed, and that they should be putting some appropriate time and resources to those.
Well, I think we're all working in the right direction. And I think there was some money announced in the budget, but it's not enough to make a huge difference.
Okay, I'm just gonna pause there because I think we'll have to come back to this one because we do have some time to put our thinking caps on and see what we want to move forward with, if we want to pass any resolutions. The students have to leave in 5, so I would like to be able to see if there are any questions from our audience today, or Rita, if you have anything. Again, as I told the last class, we do have our meetings are all recorded. So at some point in time, if you want to see how our meeting ended today or some of the decisions that were made, you can always go on our municipal website or on YouTube, correct?
Correct.
To watch the rest of the meeting. So the only thing that you're not going to see is our in-camera discussion, which I mentioned we'll be looking at our gravel tender. That will not be open to the public, so it will not be on our recording. But everything else that we discuss here will be recorded. We have our own committee reports from each member of council. Those are all on there. So if there are any questions, now would be the time to ask them, please.
Okay.
Yes.
Just, can you quickly explain to the students what in-camera means? Like, why is it not recorded? What type of, you explained that to one of my other classes, why it is not recorded, just so they have an understanding.
So in camera are issues related, all municipalities are governed by the Municipal Act. The Municipal Act is written by the province of Manitoba, and under the Municipal Act, it clearly states what items can be discussed in open session and what can be a closed session. So in a closed session of council, when you're dealing with human resource matters, HR matters, that can be discussed in camera. When you're dealing with financial matters that may have an impact on the finances of the municipality, that can be discussed in camera until it's time to share it publicly, as well as any issues related with land and those types of sales, and related items. The Municipal Act lays out very clearly what items can be discussed in camera, so the intent is always when a council or municipality meets, all items are to be discussed in an open session as much as possible. And some things that are very clearly outlined under the Act can be discussed in camera, so that, because there may be, such as a negotiation for land sale or for purchasing of, or selling of land, or buying of land, or any of those types of scenarios, or that there's a financial issue that needs to be addressed for council. That way council can have an open discussion about it, give direction to the administration, and then when they come on a camera, all decisions of council have to be outside of camera. So council can't, in camera, discuss that. So, lack of better words, a private meeting
Right.
as part of it, but it has to be identified.
Right.
Legal matters.
As well as legal matters, thank you.
Okay.
That was also reminded to me last time as well, thank you, Councillor. As well as legal matters that maybe where we have issues related with lawsuits and so forth, because it's a legal matter, needs to be discussed in camera.
Right. I just have one more quick question. All your officers that you're hiring to enforce the bylaws, do they have their own jurisdictional areas? Like, there was quite a list, and the RM is huge. So do each of those officers have a specific jurisdiction that they would take care of in terms of enforcement?
That list of officers is all the officers that are working for the company Prairie Bylaw Enforcement Services. We contract with them to be able to work for us on the weekends and patrol at night in the summer, mostly in the cottage areas and so forth. They are dealing mostly with noise complaints and many of those types of scenarios that's prevalent in the summer. We have our own protective services officer who manages all the bylaw enforcement related issues. So what we do is we contract with Prairie Bylaw for the weekend and evening patrolling throughout the RM, but mostly for any related issues that may be happening. So when somebody calls in with a bylaw complaint, if it's emergency enough, the Prairie Bylaw officer will go there. So it's usually a car of about 2 people.
Okay.
And so, but they have a list of officers which they may deploy and then do their own scheduling, because they do it not only for us, they also provide services in East St. Paul, in St. Andrews, and many other municipalities. So they have a set of officers in a region that they provide, and then they give us a list. So we give each one of them the authority to be able to enforce our bylaw, not knowing which one's going to be working at any given day.
Okay, good. Thank you so much. All right,
Okay,
we've got a
well,
bus to catch.
Do you have a question?
Yeah. Do you guys deal with the building of bike paths and stuff?
Yes, we do. Brendan, our recreation manager that was here earlier, is responsible. We've, the RM St. Clements has created an active transportation master plan that we'll be sharing and putting it on the website. And then we work with all the various groups in creating bike paths, snowmobile trails, and ATV trails as necessary that can help to deal with recreation activities in the RM.
Is there a
Trans Canada
specific
Trail.
area that you're thinking of?
Yeah. Along the highway, like by Yael, where you like go down to the river and when you're going into something like that highway.
On 204, coming from the south, and you come around the curve, like when you get to CIL Road, and then you come around the curve and go into Selkirk?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, brings up a very good point, which is probably a safety issue, having a proper bike path to get you into Selkirk from this part of the community. We have the Canada Trail where you can take the trail through here, but it's not right through CIL. And so sometimes council has to make some of those decisions. So right now, that trail cuts right across here, as a matter of fact. And so our trail maps on our website will show you some of that, so that you can take the trail through here, through the town, and I think Strathcona is going to be part of that trail network. And then it goes and connects to the Trans-Canada Trail, so it allows you to cross on Ferry Road, and then it goes right up to the bridge along along the shrubbery area,
Yeah.
And I
as
guess,
opposed to the main roads.
right, and I guess when you say that, the first thing that comes to my mind, if you were coming off of CIL Road and you took Old Henderson Highway toward the greenhouses,
Yeah.
right past the greenhouses, the trail does come to Old Henderson Highway there. And you go on the trail and you go through the hydro property, and it takes you to 204, and then you cross the highway and you go through the ash pit and takes you right into Selkirk.
Okay.
But you make a good point,
Yeah.
that that's something council can take into consideration, especially when we do the trail master plan, on how to add those trails. That's important, so citizens such as yourselves have to then communicate to the RM saying these are of interest and these are of concern, and then the council can then review those and then be able to put the budget towards doing those things in the future.
Thank
Anybody
you so
else?
much.
Anybody else?
Any other
One last
questions?
time.
No, I think we're good.
Okay, thank you all very much for coming in today, and have a good rest of the day. Where are you off today, Rita?
We are going to Tim Hortons right now. And then we're gonna go to the cop shop and have our Tim Hortons.
You're going to see the mural, are you?
Yeah, it's actually, Constable Human takes them for a tour right through the detachments.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, so they get to see the armory, and they get to see at their gym, they get to see everything. It's really cool. Have you guys watched Tim Hortons?
Of course you do.
Threatening with the cells.
They, the first group I took, we were allowed to go into the cell area because there was no customers. But last time we went, last month, there was someone in one of the holding cells, so just out for their privacy,
Yeah.
we couldn't go in and see.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. The
Okay,
bus,
have a good
the bus is
day.
gonna be right over there in the parking lot. Yeah.
I need 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you again.
Yeah,
Have a great
thank
day.
you so much, Rita. Have a good summer.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks.
What's up, Nate?
Okay.
Did you forget something?
No.
No, you're
And
good?
then we'll go into the camera
Right.
after that.
Okay, perfect.
So
That makes sense.
there is no, this was just for information, so we'll bring back the AMM for our next meeting, because we have until June
Right.
to resolve it.
I think Glenn had something, so go
Yeah,
ahead,
just
Glenn.
on the EMM, I get a time, date, and location
What,
for the EMM?
for June district meeting? I think, I don't think we have it. I know it's
Oh,
June
okay.
18th, and it's in Lac de Bonnie, but I don't know
Okay.
what time.
June 18th.
And I don't know where in Lac de Bonnie either, so.
That's probably why we're not there.
Yeah, no, we haven't gotten anything. I know it is on their website, but I don't even know if they have the locations. I think they just have the dates and who's hosting. Did you
So-
have anything else?
No, I can bring up the in-camera then.
Yeah, then we'll do the in-camera.
Resolve council recess the regular meeting, go into in-camera to discuss legal and personnel issues, and further be it resolved that all matters discussed are to remain confidential as per section 83(1)D of the municipal act.
Can I have a mover, please? Councilor Bazaroj, Councilor Strange seconds. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kevin's gonna be here right away. So,
Okay.
Okay. I need coffee.
Rob's already made his feelings known.